Good Monday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, it's a brand new day, it's a brand new week, and that means it's a brand new opportunity for you to do something amazing, and it all begins today. Of course, you have your news headlines coming up on this Monday. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you performed my conversation with author Tina Siemens, who's given us the book Seminal, Some People Never Give Up, as well as The Little Sandals That Could. You guys will be hearing about the year that's been 2022 for her, and also what's coming up. You don't want to miss that. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Monday headlines. In international news, shells hit near nuclear plant, blackouts roll across Ukraine. Powerful explosions from shelling shook Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia region, the site of Europe's largest nuclear power plant, the global nuclear watchdog said on Sunday, calling for urgent measures to help prevent a nuclear accident in the Russian-controlled facility. A heavy barrage of Russian military strikes, almost 400 on Sunday alone, also hit Ukraine's eastern regions, and fierce ground battles shook the eastern Donetsk region, Ukraine president said in his evening update. The Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency said multiple explosions near the plant on Saturday evening and again on Sunday morning abruptly ended a period of relative calm around the nuclear facility that has been the site of fighting between Russian and Ukrainian forces since Russia invaded on February the 24th. The fighting has raised the specter of a nuclear catastrophe ever since Russian troops occupied the plant during the early days of the war. In renewed shelling both close to and at the site, IAEA experts at the Zaporizhzhia facility reported hearing more than a dozen blasts within a short period Sunday morning and could see other explosions from their windows, the agency said. Later in the day on Sunday, the IAEA said the shelling had stopped and that its experts would assess the situation today. There has been damage to parts of the site, but no radiation release or loss of power, the agency said. Still, the individual called the shelling extremely disturbing and appealed to both sides to urgently implement a nuclear safety and security zone around the facility. Russia has been pounding Ukraine's power grid and other infrastructure from the air, causing widespread blackouts and leaving millions of Ukrainians without heat, power, or water as frigid cold and snow blankets the capital Kyiv and other cities. Ukraine's state nuclear power operator said Russian forces were behind the shelling of the Zaporizhzhia plant and that the equipment targeted was consistent with the Kremlin's intent to damage or destroy as much of Ukraine's energy infrastructure as possible as winter sets in. The weekend strikes damaged the system that would enable the plant's power units 5 and 6 to start producing electricity again for Ukraine, the power operator said. The State Nuclear Regulatory Inspectorate of Ukraine hopes to bring the two units to a minimally controlled power level to obtain steam, which is critical in winter for ensuring the safety of the plant and the surrounding area. Moscow, meanwhile, blamed Ukrainian forces for the damage. Russian Defense Ministry spokesperson accused the Ukrainians of shelling the power plant twice on Sunday and said 2 shells hit near power lines supplying the plant with electricity. In national news, parts of New York dig out after potentially historic snowfall. Parts of New York finally caught a break on Sunday after a storm spent days dumping a potentially record-setting amount of snow on cities and towns east of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Many businesses in the hardest-hit regions remain closed, but highways reopened and travel bans in many areas were lifted, though bands of lake-effect snow were expected to bring up to 2 feet by today in some parts of the state that were largely spared in earlier rounds. Snow began falling Thursday in towns south of Buffalo. By Saturday, the National Weather Association recorded 77 inches in Orchid Park, home of the NFL's Buffalo Bills, and 72 inches in National Bridge, a hamlet near Watertown off the eastern end of Lake Ontario. Similar multi-day storms have brought bigger snowfall totals than that in the past to New York, but the ferocity of the storm on Friday appeared to threaten the state's record for most snowfall in a 24-hour period, the 50 inches that fell on Camden, New York on February 1st, 1966. In entertainment news, Taylor Swift angry for fans and Ticketmaster meltdown. Swifties, the Associated Press says, your girl has spoke on the Ticketmaster meltdown. Taylor Swift posted a story Friday on Instagram expressing her anger and frustration over the hours spent by fans trying to buy tickets for her tour next year. I'm not going to make excuses for anyone because we asked them multiple times if they could handle this kind of demand and we were assured they could, she wrote. It's truly amazing that 2.4 million people got tickets, but it really blanks me off that a lot of people feel they went through several bear attacks to get them. A general public sale scheduled for last Friday was canceled the day before. And finally, in more entertainment news, Wakanda Forever extends reign, she said, struggles. Black Panther Wakanda Forever extended its box office reign in its second week of release, with $67 million in ticket sales over the weekend, according to studio estimates on Sunday, while she said about the journalistic investigation into Harvey Weinstein struggled in wide release. Wakanda Forever has amassed $546 million globally thus far and should continue to drive sales over the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Monday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Today, choose to stay focused, stay prayerful, and never forget you were created for greatness. Now go have an amazing Monday. We have part of my conversation coming up with author Tina Siemens in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Entertainment Spotlight. Author Tina Siemens, who brought us the book Seminal, Some People Never Give Up, and The Little Sandals That Could, rejoin me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the year that's been 2022 and all she's done. Here's a bit of our conversation. Tina, thank you so much again for the time. Glad to have you back on with us.
Well, Cyrus, thank you. What an honor. It always feels like it's our very first time, even though we've done this several times. There's always excitement in the air when I know that Cyrus is on my schedule. So
well, I appreciate that. I feel the same way. Tina, it's hard to believe we've been connected now for 2 years. You first published a Seminal in 2019. I want to talk about the year, though. What has this year been like for you to reflect on what you've been able to do, but also the sharing of the message about the books? What has that been like?
Well, this year has been a whirlwind. Not only did the Little Sandals That Could come out, so I got that available, and so I've been enjoying sending that out and just having different book signings, and but I haven't done as much as I wanted to this year because we built a new home on our farm, and just as Cyrus and I was talking about before we went on air, we are now on the same farm with both our sons and their families, and so having grandchildren, 2 on my right, half a mile away, and 2 on my left, half a mile away. So that has been a huge part of 2022. But not just that, but this year, October 1st, as you'll read on page 53 in The Little Sandals That Could, was October 31st, 86, is when we became U.S. citizens. So it has been 45 years since we immigrated from Old Mexico to West Texas. And so every October 31st, we celebrate America Day.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News. But let's get on tomorrow with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make it a great one.